Hello, good day everyone. Today we are going to discuss about OCT, which is one of the most important things in ophthalmology right now. And the postgraduate residents in ophthalmology, particularly those who are in their first or second year of residency, they find it very difficult to understand. I will try my best to make it easier for you guys and to make it understandable for you guys. So let's begin. OCT stands for optical coherence tomography. Optical optical word is actually something related to the light, and it is also something that is related to the sight. The word coherence is the property of light to form a waveform with the waves which are compatible with each other and which are consistent with each other, as we can see in laser lights. Tomography is a technique to display a cross section of a human body, and in OCT we are actually looking or displaying the cross section of the human retina. Here I am describing you the what the word coherence means. It is actually the property of light. It detects the light waves which are similar to each other. It detects the light waves which are consistent with each other, and it forms a sharp waveform, as we can see here the coherent light waves, and we can see here the incoherent light waves. Okay, so what is OCT? It is actually a non-invasive imaging technique which uses light waves to take the cross-sectional pictures of your retina. It is actually similar to ultrasound, but in ultrasound we use sound waves to take images of the particular organ, but in OCT we use light waves to take the picture of the organ. So we can see the distinctive layers of the retina with these OCT. It measures their thickness and then it displays us the retina in form of map and in form of the pictures also. So it is very important nowadays because it helps us in the diagnosis, and it also helps us to monitor our treatment in cases of glaucoma and other retinal diseases. Say for example, the age related macular degeneration, the central serous chorioretinopathy, the macular holes, the cystoid macular edema, etc, etc. So what's the difference between ultrasound and OCT? As I have already told you that ultrasound uses sound waves for the imaging, but OCT uses the light waves for the imaging, and these light waves are the infrared light waves. In ultrasound, your probe must be in physical contact with the patient. You have to touch the patient with that probe, but in OCT the no physical contact is required. Ultrasound shows you less details of the structures, concerned structures, but OCT gives much more details of your concerned structure. The benefit of ultrasound is that you can look into optically opaque structures, and the structures that are even hidden behind the iris can be detected by the ultrasound. But for OCT, you cannot look through the opaque structures, and you must have a clear window to see that, like a clear cornea and a pupil. The key benefits of OCT are: you can have a near microscopic resolution of your concerned structure even at the cellular level, and it is the direct imaging of the tissue morphology. You do not have to prepare your sample or your patient, and there is no use of ionizing radiations that can be harmful for your patient. Okay, so how does your OCT works? There are some parts in your OCT machines. There is a light delivery system. Then we have a reference arm and a sample arm and detectors. When a low intensity near infrared light from this light delivery system is thrown into patient's eye, this light strikes the retina and is reflected back. These reflected light waves are then compared with the light reflected from this reference arm, and the waves of the light which are coherent with each other They are detected here by the detectors, and this detector, it makes A scans of the reflected light for you. So the light waves that were detected by the detectors and were arranged into A scans. Now these A scans are arranged in two dimensions, the 2D images, to form a collection of B scans. Okay, now these B scans are further arranged to give you three type of volumetric images in OCT. The first one is the rectangular image or the raster volume scan, in which the images are displayed by using a series of parallel B scans. Then we have a radial volume scan, which shows the B scans in which the B scans are arranged at regular angular intervals at angles, and they gave you a radial volume scans. Then you have a annular volume scan, in which a series of B scans form concentric rings to display the images. All three of them have their own importance and use. Okay, so rectangular scans are most frequently used to image the macula. Any disease of the macula is very well displayed by these rectangular images. The annular scans, in which the concentric rings are formed, they are used to image the structures in the vicinity of the optic nerve head and the optic nerve head itself. Then we have the radial scans, which are mostly useful for the imaging of the cornea, and many other patterns of the scans are also possible, and they are also useful, and it is not hard and fast rule that the scans are particularly mandatory to image a particular structure. Now I would like to briefly tell you about the types of the OCTs. The first generation of OCT was a time domain OCT. It although it was useful, but it was very slow, and it was relatively simple. Then comes the second generation, which is a Fourier domain OCT. It has different types, like nowadays commonly used swept source OCT and the spectral domain OCT are the types of this Fourier domain OCT. It is faster, and it acquire multiple B scans, and it arrange them into a three-dimensional picture. The spectral domain OCT, which is a type of Fourier domain OCT, it has a specially designed spectrometer in it. The spectrometer detects all the wavelengths of the light, and then it gives you the images. Here you can see the two images, the this one, the time domain OCT, and the spectral domain OCT. You can see the difference in the quality of the images here. Then we have enhanced depth imaging, which is nowadays very popular. It is actually the images are taken with the standard OCT machines, but with a slightly different setting, and the main focus is on the deeper parts of your eye. It can show you the choroid, the choriocapillaries, and even it can focus up to the sclera. Choroidoscleral junction can also be visible. So it is of particularly important in choroidal diseases like nevus and central serous retinopathy, polypoidal choroidal vasculopathy, and high myopia. So our main concern is how to read an OCT image. Uh, So, as we have talked about the principle of OCT, up to now we all should know that OCT images are generated by measuring the light that is reflected from the retina. This light is then processed into a computer, and then the images are shown into false color coding. This artificial color coding of the images depend upon the reflectivity of the light. So when you see a false colored image OCT, the red color indicates the highly reflective tissues, and the green or blue color shows the low reflective tissue. If we talk about a black and white OCT, the white color shows the highly reflective tissue, and the gray and black color shows the low reflective tissue. So if we talk about the images that we get through the OCTs, we can get line scans. These scans are particularly important to visualize the macula. And the OCT machine, it takes the retinal vessels as the landmark, and it takes the images and it then gives you the average of those images to give you a very high definition scan of the macula. It is particularly important for the macular anatomy. So another type of image that we get on OCTs are the maps. These maps, the OCT machines combine their multiple line scans and forms these maps of the macula, and these maps actually indicate the contour of the macula to you. It is particularly very important for the macular edema, and it shows you the central foveal thickness and the macular thickness. Here also the false color coding is used, and the red color on this macular map does not indicate the blood. It shows actually the thickness. When you Here we can see a scale, this one, this scale. The blue color on this scale indicates the thinning, and the red color indicates the thickness. While looking into an OCT image, you should not forget these 6 points that I am going to tell you right now. You should make a habit to review these 6 points in each and every scan. The very first point is you have to check the name of your patients, and you should make sure that the OCT that you are looking is actually it actually belongs to your patient or not. Then you have to see the date of the image to make sure that you are actually looking the current status of the retina of your patient. Then you have to center the fundus image. This fundus image is very important. You should see it, and you should see the status of the fundus, and the part of the fundus that is being focused in this image is actually the part that is being shown in the OCT image. So number 3 is review the OCT image. You can see here the macula is being focused, and the OCT is also focused on the macula. Then on number 4, you should check the signal strength. Either the signal strength is good or poor. It should be accurate, it should be good. Then you have to see the mean central subfoveal thickness like this here, and I have told you earlier that in this map red means thickening and blue means thin. Then you have to double check the thickness. Here in this column the thickness is also written here, and here in the map it is shown in a color coding. So we can see here that there is a macular edema and also a macular hole. Okay, now, indications of OCT. OCT is very important in detection and monitoring of the macular pathology, be it subretinal fluid or macular edema or macular hole. And then its very important indication is the glaucomatous nerve fiber layer changes. It is very important in this. You can also detect the optic disc changes in the glaucoma patients, and it is used to evaluate the retinal architecture due to the underlying tumors, maybe choroidal nevus or melanoma or hemangiomas. Now, OCT is particularly important in diagnosing, I think, every condition of the retina. This is an OCT scan of a normal, healthy retina. This image, you can see it is a labeled image, and you can recognize each and every structure. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can Google the image. Here I would like to give a tip for the beginners. If you want to read an OCT scan like a pro, you should have a labeled OCT diagram of a normal eye in your mobile phone, and you should look that image 8 to 10 times daily, and in a few days you will be able to pick up the minor abnormalities in the OCT scans. Like, you should have a level diagram so that you can recognize each and every layer of the retina. When you will be able to recognize the normal layers in the retina, then you can pick any abnormality there. Now we have some OCTs of different retinal conditions. We can see here that we have OCTs of dry age-related macular degeneration and wet AMD. In dry AMD, we can see that these drusen, they appear hyper-reflective shadows, and the pigment clumping is hyper-reflectivity with the underlying shadowing. Okay, because it blocks the light. Then we have this geographic atrophy, which can appear actually it is most clearly seen on fundus autofluorescence, but in OCT, the atrophic changes appear as areas of sharply demarcated choroidal hyperreflectivity, as we can see in this, and it is because of the loss of overlying RPE. We can also see the outer retinal tubulations or hyporeflective spaces with hyperreflective borders in the outer nuclear layer also. So, and here in the wet AMD, we can see that there is a loss of Brooks membrane, and we can see these uh, variable reflectivity things beneath the retina in the retina. So this is actually detecting the subretinal hemorrhages. Then we have this OCT of the macular hole. It is a grade 4 macular hole. We can see here there is the break, and this is the OCT of a macular. Then we have an OCT image of vitreomacular traction. Here we can see this is the vitreous, and it is causing the traction on the macula, and it is pulling the macula up. Then we have central serous chorioretinopathy. We can see here a cystic space, which is a clear space because of the fluid. It appears black hyporeflective. So we have a clear space, and the elevation of the retina, it indicates the central serous. So now we have this OCT image of macular edema. We can see that the macula is elevated here, and we have these cystic spaces within the retinal layers, and this is an imaging of cystoid macular edema. Okay, these were a few images of macular OCT. I have complete other presentation of OCT macula, and depending upon the response of you guys, I will be posting it on my YouTube channel. Then we have OCT in glaucoma. Also, it is another topic of presentation. I have a complete presentation of OCT in glaucoma, how to read an OCT in glaucoma. But I would like to briefly describe it here. Like we can see here, the OCT in glaucoma, we can have the imaging of the retinal nerve fiber layer and the optic nerve head. We can have these line scans like this, and we can have maps, color coded maps like this and like this. Okay, so we should know how to read them, and so that we can see the glaucomatous damage of the optic nerve head. uh, Nowadays, for glaucoma, we are doing the ganglion cell complex OCT, which actually measures the thickness of these three retinal layers, which are the nerve fiber layer, ganglion cell layer, and inner plexiform layer. And depending upon the thickness or thinning of these layer, we are going to assess the glaucomatous changes in the retina. You can see here there are some maps here, and again I will be talking about in my next presentation in OCT glaucoma. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video and for listening to me. I'll be waiting for your comments. If you want to make any corrections, if you want to give any suggestions, or even if you want to criticize, I'll be waiting for your comments. Please like this video and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon, and thank you very much.